Today I'm going to take you through the South Africa squad and what my thoughts are for it, what I think the best 15 is, and how I think their test series with Wales is going to go. So with the props, we have Tom Atutoy, Stephen Kitsoff, Vincent Koch, Frans Malherbe, Ntuthuko Mukunu, Oxenche and Trevor Nyakane. So that's a really good selection of props that South Africa have available for them. We're aware that South Africa like to, maybe, I don't know if it's fair to say start their second lot of props and then bring on their stronger props at the end, because I think their props are all very good. Kitsoff is one of the best props in the world. He starts from the bench a lot, and Oxenche is fantastic, and Nyakane's fantastic, Vincent Koch's fantastic. I've not seen a lot of Malherbe and Dutoit recently, but this is a fantastic selection of props. With their hookers, they've got Joseph Dweba, Malcolm Marx, and Bongi Mbonambi. Now, Marx and Mbonambi, for me, are two of the best hookers in the world. They're probably the two best hookers in the world, and they have both of them, which is a bit unfair, but they're fantastic at making front rows in South Africa. So that is a fantastic selection of props. I don't think I've seen a lot of Joseph Dweba, who's only got one cap for South Africa, plays for Bordeaux. So yeah, I've not really seen much of him. But yeah, that's some fantastic hookers. Marx and Mbonambi, amazing. Dweba, he plays for Bordeaux, so he must be a good player if he's playing for Bordeaux. They're a really good team. So let's move on to the locks. We've got Lud de Jager, Ebenezer, Salman Mori, Ruan Nortje, and Marvin Ore. So again, another very good selection of locks here. Lud de Jager, Ebenezer, absolutely fantastic players. Mori as well is really, really good. And Marvin Ore is also fantastic. Both of them play for the Stormers, who are, of course, in the URC final coming up at the weekend, where they will be coming up against the Bulls. So yeah, that's a very good grouping of locks in this squad. For their loose forwards, they've got Peter Steph Dutoy, Marcel Coetzee, Sia Khaleesi, Ellery Lou, Evan Roos, Kwagga Smith, and Jasper Wiese. Of course, South Africa have got probably the best pack in the world, and probably the best second choice pack in the world. We all know how good Peter Steph Dutoy and Khaleesi is, Kwagga Smith, Jasper Wiese, all very good. Jasper Wiese with Leicester Tigers is going to be in the Premiership final at the weekend. And of course, players like Coetzee and Lou, I'm not sure how to say his name, are going to be in the URC final as well, along with Evan Roos. I'm not quite sure how well Steph Dutoy is doing just now out in Japan, and I think it's the same with Kwagga Smith. But Japanese league is a fairly competitive league at a fairly decent level these days. So they have a few utility forwards as well, with Reinhard Elstad, Dion Fury, and Franco Mozart. So for the scrum halves, they've got, of course, Faf de Klerk, Jaden Hendricks, Herschel Yantes, and Grant Williams. So of course, Faf de Klerk, fantastic number 9, one of the best box kickers in the game, probably the best box kicker in the game. And Herschel Yantes, playing for the Stormers, was again another player who's going to be in the URC final at the weekend. Jaden Hendricks plays for the Sharks, only got a couple of caps, so don't know that much about him. I'm starting to know a bit more about the South African teams now that they're playing in the URC, which my team Edinburgh plays in as well, but I'm still getting to know some of those teams. It's been a bit of a topsy-turvy season with traveling to South Africa and back with COVID earlier on in the season. So I'm still learning a lot of the players in the teams in South Africa. So let's move on to the fly halves. We've got Johan Goosen, Elton Yantes, and Andre Pollard. Of course, Andre Pollard joining Leicester next season after he'll be leaving Montpellier. Has been playing sort of second to Paolo Garbisi, it's the number 10. But I think a lot of that is because he is moving to Leicester and Garbisi isn't. He is a fantastic number 10. Elton Yantes as well is a pretty good number 10 in his own right. Got a lot of caps for South Africa and is a fantastic option there to have either to start or off the bench for Pollard. They often seem to rotate between the two of them a lot. So yes, and Johan Goosen, who plays for the Bulls, who again will be in the URC final this weekend. In midfield, we have got Lekanyo Am, Damien Dealendi, Andre Esterhazen, and Jesse Creel. Now this is a fantastic selection of centres that they've got. Am and Dealendi, they've been a fantastic partnership for South Africa recently. Dealendi been amazing for Munster. Am has been the Sharks' standout player this season when he's been playing for the Sharks. Andre Esterhuizen fully deserves a call-up to the South Africa squad. I believe he hasn't been capped in a wee bit. I might be wrong with that, but he's been playing fantastically for Harlequins over the last few seasons. Of course, they got knocked out of the Premiership playoffs last week against Saracens, but he's a fantastic player, and Jesse Creel is also a standout centre in his own right. So in their outside backs, we've got Afalele Fassi, Warwick Gallant, Cheslin Colby, Billy LaRue, and Makazole Mapimpi. Now, we all know how good Colby and Mapimpi are. They have been fantastic. They both were very responsible for destroying England in the World Cup final a few years ago. Billy LaRue, he gets a lot of stick, but I still think he's a very good fullback and probably still their best fullback for South Africa. And Gallant and Fassi, again, another two players who will be playing in the URC final this weekend. A lot of players who will be playing in finals this weekend, which really shows the strength of this South African team, if you didn't think they were strong already. And a couple of utility backs that they've got is Kurtley Arense and Damien Willemse. Again, another two players who will be involved in the URC final this weekend. Okay, so let's go on to what I think the best 15 for this South Africa team is. This isn't necessarily like a starting 15 because, like I said, they've got the bomb squad. They like to maybe not necessarily start their stronger players to bring them on later on in the game. But if they were starting their best players, this is what I personally think they are. Tell me what you think their best team would be down in the comments below. If I've got a number 1, I've got Kitsoff. At number 2, I've got Imbanambi. At number 3, I've got Inchi. At number 4, I've got Etzebeth. At number 5, I've got Lud de Jager. At number 6, I've got Khaleesi. At number 7, I've got Steph du Toit. At number 8, I've got Quagga Smith. At number 9, I've got Faf de Klerk. At number 10, I've got Pollard. Number 11, I've got Makazole Mapimpi. At number 12, I've got Dialendi. Number 13, Lekanyo Am. At number 14, Cheslin Colby. And number 15, Billy LaRue. So tell me what you think about that. And like I said, what your preferred 15 would be down in the comments below. Now let's talk about how I think they will go against Wales this summer. So for me personally, I can't see this going very well for Wales. They do have some good players, but I don't think they have the right man steering the ship for them. They were very poor in the Six Nations, and yes, I'm aware I am a Scotsman who's saying that, so they did beat us, but they have not been very good for about a year now. So I think away in South Africa for Wales is not going to be good for them. On the other hand, South Africa doing really well. If you look at the regional sides, both play in the same league. There were 3 South African teams in the playoffs and no Welsh teams, an all South African final in the URC. So I can't really go anywhere else but say I think it's going to be a 3-0 victory to South Africa, and I think Wales should be very worried about the scorelines in some of those games against a back line that involves Makazole Mapimpi and Cheslin Colby, and a pack that involves players like Kitsoff and Etzebeth and Khaleesi and Quagga Smith. That's not going to go very well for them. Do you think the scrum is too slow? Well, check this video out to find out how it can be sped up.